First up, Pakistan's efforts to gag Indian media have backfired, and very strongly at that, Islamabad has been forced to backtrack after it blocked access to the India Today website last evening. The outcry it faced from Indian media forced it to remove the gag. In a show of unprecedented solidarity, Indian media outlets had slammed the Pakistani move against India Today. An embarrassed Pakistan government was forced to relook its decision and lift the digital blockade of the intoday.in website. And it was this India Today cover which had rubbed Pakistanis the wrong way. The cover was a hard look at Prime Minister Modi's Independence Day speech, a statement on India's new Baloch policy which marked a big shift from the defensive to the offensive. Pakistan has always promptly gagged the messenger, and anyone trying to access the India Today website was greeted with a pop-up message saying the website contained content prohibited for viewers in Pakistan. Shockingly, restrictions were applied despite Lahore High Court ruling against blocking access to websites. Right, the ban on the India Today website has now been lifted after outcry from a united Indian media took on the Pakistani government. We're being told that anytime anyone tried to access the India Today website, a pop-up would say that the content is prohibited from viewing in Pakistan. The ban has now been lifted, and people in Pakistan can now read articles written on the India Today website. We're trying to connect to our Deputy Editor Smita Sharma for more details. She is in fact with us live from the national capital. Smita, this has in fact come as a big breakthrough after a unified voice coming from the Indian media against the ban that was imposed on the India Today website.
Well, clearly, any ban of any form, Simi, is not welcome in any country by media houses, because at the end of the day, the media, which is supposed to be the fourth estate, it's supposed to report on issues. And before you ban something, you really need to go into it and see whether it is an objective, in fact, interpretation of issues or not. So in this case, in the India Today magazine, clearly, while, it's not just Indian voices who have gone out and practiced some sort of a hatred against Pakistan, it's about deliberating upon a policy recalibration from India, wherein Narendra Modi, chose to talk about atrocities in Balochistan from the ramparts of the Red Fort. And that's why this magazine tried dissecting that entire policy change. It also had voices from Pakistan writing into the magazine itself. But the government perhaps got rattled because, it's a holy cow when you talk about the army and the establishment there. And to see a photograph of Rahil Sharif there, they thought of it as the army chief being humiliated, which is why it led to these hours of blocking, as was being reported. But it's good news, it's welcome news if in case the site has really been unblocked, is what we are hearing.
Smita, thanks so much for that update. We're going to keep coming back to you for more reactions on this big story. We're also being joined by Kaswar Klasra, who's with us on the phone line from Islamabad. Kaswar, the Pakistani government forced to backtrack and was forced to lift the ban it had imposed on the India Today website. Almost an embarrassment there for them.
Well, we can't say that it's really embarrassment for the Pakistani government or the Pakistan army, because I have spoken to the officials of Pakistan Telecommunication 13 here in Pakistan. They argued that there has been no ban on the website of India Today as well. Yes, there has been some reports, premature reports. I would quote Pakistan's one of the largest English news daily, the Express Tribune. They carried a news report yesterday that apparently it seemed that the Pakistani government has blocked the website of India Today, but it was really a baseless reporting. And what I can show you, that is, the Pakistan has not banned the website of India Today. Yes, there has been reports that one of the Pakistan national filed a petition in Islamabad, in the Lahore High Court, asking the court to put a ban on the website of India Today's website following a cover story with pictures of the Pakistan Army chief, but it was turned on. But we can say that the Pakistani government has been embarrassed because there was no ban on the website of India Today, so we can't say like that. And in case if there has been put a ban on the on the website of India Today magazine, definitely we have a department like the Pakistan Telecommunication Authority, and they announce to in such cases if they need to ban any of the website and any of the the news portal.
But
They announced a
Kaswar,
ban.
we're also being told that the Pakistan Telecommunication Authority had actually been instructed by the government to block this website after the High Court directed a petitioner to take up the matter with the federal government.
Not exactly, not exactly. There has been no instruction from either side, as the Pakistan Army or the Pakistani government, to put a ban on the news site of India Today website. But as I told you earlier, that the Pakistan Telecommunication Authority officials say that they have not received any sort of instruction from either side, either the Pakistan's courts or the Pakistan Army or the Pakistani government. There has been no such move at all in the past as well.
All right, we also have with us our Deputy Editor Smita Sharma, who's with us live via Skype. Smita, is this the first time that India Today's website or any other Indian news portal has been blocked in Pakistan?
Well, as far as India Today is concerned, I would believe that yes, this is the first time, as Raj Chengappa, the Group Editorial Director, was pointing out that even during the time when General Parvez Musharraf used to be at the helm of affairs, India Today had done provocative, in fact, articles, but it did not lead to a ban. But remember, we're talking about a country where press... there have been reporters like Salim Shehzad who have actually lost their lives in the past. There have been reporters like Umar Chima, to Hamid Mir, a very, very popular face who have actually been shot at or brutally beaten up by the agencies because they reported on something that did not go down well with the establishment. They are used to, in fact, blocking, websites there. YouTube was blocked, in fact, for 2 years, literally, in Pakistan. Because it started off by saying that we do not want any miscommunication of sort, and then it became just a regular social media clampdown. So when it comes to press freedom, really this is a huge issue, more so in a country like Pakistan, but by and large in perhaps the part of the world that we stay in South Asia as well. See?
Right, Kaspar, I want to ask you, we're being told that Abdul Hamid, the petitioner, had reportedly requested the Nawaz government to take up the matter with the Indian government and lodge a formal protest. Any forward movement on that? Kaspar, can you hear me? Right, we seem to be facing some trouble on that line with Kaspar Klasra, who's been getting us details from Islamabad. Let's go back to Smita Sharma, who's with us live via Skype. Smita, we're being told that the petitioner had in fact approached the Nawaz government asking him to file or rather lodge a formal protest with the Indian government.
I don't think that will be the case, Simi, at the moment, because remember, India Today is an independent and a private organization. The government has nothing to do with it. And clearly, India Today stands by its reports, that we publish out and put out there in the space for our viewers as well as for our audience. It's one of the largest, in fact, media groups in India. From print to television, but clearly for political, in fact, brownie scoring, a lot of things can happen. We saw how Pakistan actually threw out the only two Indian journalists who were there in Pakistan. One from the Press Trust of India, which is the largest news agency, and another from another, in fact, private independent newspaper. So relationship when it comes to the press has not been an easy one. It's not been a comfortable one. I know for visas, every time when it comes to covering events in Pakistan, we have spent hours on the footpath outside of Pakistan High Commission. Literally, that gauges in a way the temperatures between the two countries. In the last, in fact, SARC event, we saw that Pakistan refused to give any visas to Indian private journalists, and the way Indian media was treated there when Rajnath Singh actually went to Islamabad, that too became a headline for all sorts of wrong reasons. So clearly, we are talking about two countries that have very, very difficult and complex relationships. And in this context, we can only hope that there is maturity, there is wisdom, that when a press puts out something, you look at it first, see whether it's objective or not before you go in for a knee-jerk reaction.
Absolutely. We also have with us Raj Chengappa, our Group Editorial Director, who's with us on the phone line. Raj Chengappa, it's not the first time that we're seeing a sort of a crackdown by the Pakistani government against the Indian media. There are also reports that that after the centre allowed AIR programs in Balochi, Pakistan has reportedly banned all Indian TV channels in the country.
Well, Simi, actually, I was surprised by the ban that was reported on the India Today website by a daily paper in Pakistan, because I've been covering Pakistan now for close to 2 decades. I've actually interviewed Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif when he was in exile in Jeddah, and when President Musharraf was in power, and Prime Minister Sharif made very critical remarks against President Musharraf. But instead of banning the India Today copy, which we carried on the cover, Mr. Sharif's comments, President Musharraf invited me to Pakistan, and I interviewed his then Prime Minister to know the facts from his side. I mean, that was a very, very mature reaction to it. So yesterday, when news began filtering about the fact that the Lahore High Court very correctly had said that they were not going to impose a ban after a petition came, and it was for the government to do so, when we heard reports that the government was doing so, I was very surprised and shocked. And I thought this was a retrograde step, and I'm very happy to know that there has been no ban, or the ban has been lifted, if there was one. And this, I think, is a very good reaction, though the initial part was saddening to me.
Absolutely, and Raj, apart from the Indian media, which took up, which sort of took up the story in a big way, was there also civil society in Pakistan that was upset with the government's decision?
I think there was a lot of surprise from the reports that I sent, and they all felt it wasn't the done thing. Pakistan media has been free. If you see the kind of television news that used to go on, barring occasional bouts where the government clamped down on them, they are pretty free to express their views, and I'm sure they would have watched this with consternation. Though there has always been a degree of caution while reporting on the army, but by and large, whenever I went to Pakistan or talked to journalists over there, I could see that they could express themselves freely, and I think this was a very, very good, augur for Pakistan, as well as the judiciary. Despite reports of other kinds of things, I've always found the judiciary has, acted strongly and has even indicted politicians. So on 2 fronts of democracy, that's very encouraging.
Absolutely. The judiciary, the civil society and the media standing up against the government's decision to ban the India Today website. Rachingappa and Smita Sharma, thanks so much for those details. We're going to keep coming back to you for more developments on the story.